Hello, Wayne Township. On behalf of the Automotive Safety Program at the IU School of Medicine in Safe Kids, Indiana, I would like to welcome you to our session today. We are going to talk about a super important area for our children and their safety. And we're going to talk today about booster seats for big kids. We are going to take a look at a few different things together today. But first, you'll see some pictures here that are drawn about booster seats. Booster seats are the step after a child graduates from their forward-facing seat with a harness. After they reach the upper height and weight limits of that seat, then they graduate into a booster seat. Booster seats provide an important next step between car seats and seat belts. Booster seats are for children who are too big for a car seat, but too small for the adult seatbelt. Booster seats lift a child up so that the seatbelt fits across the shoulders and hips, away from their necks and stomachs, which can cause serious injury in a crash. What you'll see in the picture on the left is there's a picture of a child with the adult seatbelt over their body without the use of a booster. You can see how that is over their stomach and close to their neck. What we see on the right is what the correct belt fit looks like for a booster with a child that's in a booster. The seat belt, the lap portion of the belt, is low over their hips and over their shoulder, some of the strongest parts of our bodies. We're going to take a look next at what the booster seats take a look like. So we have high back booster seats and backless booster seats. These are the two different types that exist. If you do not have head restraints or what looks like what we call a headrest sometimes in your vehicle, you'll need to use a high back booster seat. Next, we're going to watch a short video about how to use a booster seat.
This video covers some basic tips for using a high back booster seat. When the child has outgrown the height or weight limits of a forward-facing car seat, it's time to move to a booster seat. There are two kinds of booster seats, backless and high back booster seats. Caregivers should use a high back booster seat when the vehicle's seat back is low or when there are no head restraints. This type of booster seat positions the vehicle's seat belt over the stronger parts of the child's body. It provides head, neck, and back support. Caregivers can use a backless booster seat when the vehicle's head restraint supports the child's head. This type of booster seat also positions the vehicle's seat belt over the stronger parts of the child's body. Before you begin, read the instruction manual for the booster seat and the portion of the vehicle owner's manual on child restraint systems. Because every booster seat and vehicle is different, it's important to follow all instructions carefully. It is important to note booster seats can only be used with a lap and shoulder belt, not a lap-only seat belt. Place the booster seat flat in the back seat of the vehicle. Have the child sit in the booster seat and fasten the seat belt. Make sure the seat belt fits the child properly. The shoulder belt should rest across the chest away from the child's neck, and the lap belt should be across the upper thighs. If the booster seat comes with seat belt guides, use them to achieve good belt positioning. If necessary, adjust the vehicle head restraint to a comfortable and supportive position. The child is now secure and ready to travel. Encourage caregivers to keep children in a booster seat until the seat belt fits properly.
That video is a great example of how to use a booster seat with some of the additional information that we reviewed before. Next, we're going to look at booster benefits. We're going to look at a simulation from the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia and then talk a little bit about that. So the child in the top of this video is only using a lap and shoulder belt. His head moves a lot more forward than the child in the booster seat at the bottom. We want the child's head to move as little as possible. This is what makes a child safer in a car. Now we're going to take a look at the benefits of a lap and shoulder belt and show the difference between a lap and shoulder belt and a lap belt only. So a huge difference there. This video shows the difference between the use of a lap and shoulder belt on the top and a lap only belt on the bottom. Just like we talked about on the slide before, we want the child's head to move as little as possible. We try to give the best protection to the head and neck because often those injuries last a very long time. So what do we do after our child graduates from the booster seat? Booster seats can typically be used until a child is about 4 feet 9 inches tall. And so every single seat varies in terms of height and weight. So you'll want to check the information on your car seat and in the owner's manual. Again, seat belts are made to fit adults. And so in order to protect children, they have to fit correctly. And so what we see here on the left is a kiddo that's got the shoulder belt underneath his arm. And so seat belts need to fit just like this little girl on the right. She's a bit older and she's graduated from her booster seat. And seat belts need to fit on one shoulder and on both of the hips. The seat belt should never go behind the child's back or under their arm. That puts the seat belt over very small bones and ribs. And so we want the seat belt to rest on the strongest parts of their bodies, which are the shoulders and the hips. And so making sure that the seat belt fits appropriately is important. As a child is graduating from this booster to seat belt, we'll watch a short video about how to know if it's the right time to transition.
This video covers guidelines for riding properly in an adult seatbelt in the back seat of a vehicle. For a child to properly fit in a seatbelt, he or she must be tall enough to sit without slouching. The child's back should be against the vehicle's seat back. Knees should bend naturally at the edge of the vehicle's seat, and feet should be flat on the floor. The lap belt must fit snugly, low on the hips and upper thighs, not on the stomach. The shoulder belt should lie snug across the shoulder and chest, and not across the neck or face. The caregiver should never let the child put the shoulder belt under their arm or behind their back. It could cause severe injuries in a crash. All children under age 13 should sit in the back seat of the vehicle whenever possible. Teach caregivers these guidelines for proper seatbelt fit, and remember, they work for adults too.
So some great reminders in that video that children need to ride in the back seat until they're 13 years old, and that the seatbelt needs to fit them on the shoulder, low on the hips. Let's take a look at some local resources. So this short video was there just to provide some educational resources to you. The Indiana child restraint law is as follows. Children are required to ride properly restrained in a child restraint, which can include a belt positioning booster until they reach their 8th birthday. This does not include shoulder belt positioners. What happens after the age of 8? Children are at least 8 years of age until their 16th birthday are required to ride properly restrained in a child restraint system or a seatbelt in all seating positions in all vehicles. We want to encourage you to keep children riding safely in the back seat, in their booster seat, until their seatbelt fits them appropriately. Do you need help with a booster or car seat? You can visit us at preventinjury.pediatrics.iu.edu or phone us at 1-800-543-6227. And on behalf of the Automotive Safety Program at the IU School of Medicine, Safe Kids Indiana, and our generous funders, the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute, we want to thank you for viewing this. Have a fabulous day.